Hey guys, Fusebox back on Raid Shadow Legends, and I've come up with the ultimate tier list for Raid. Pretty much this is the end all be all. I put a lot of time and thought into each tier, and I've got it figured out. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First up, we're going to start with Iron Twins. I pretty much shed a tier every night, and so I'm putting it in the nightly tiers category. So that's the tier we're going to put this in, because every night I'm struggling to decide, should I keep going with events? Should I use my energy for very low rewards? So this does have to go into the nightly tier category, because every night it seems to draw a tear from my eye, right? So that's the first up, and this is basically going to end up grading Raid Shadow Legends if you really think about it. Maybe Plarium will check this out and think about what's really happening. So it's not all going to be bad. There are some good. So on the flip side of Iron Twins, next up, we've got the new Soul system. This right here is actually a joy, right? So tears of joy for this. I do love the Soul system. The problem is the Iron Twins, trying to get those souls, right? So it's a horribly long grind. You see how this had to get split into two different tiers, because I do have tears of joy when I do finally get a good Soul Star Ascension, whatever it's called, but trying to get them pretty much drags a tier every night. Next up, CVC. I absolutely hate CVC. That's just the honest truth. Even the free rewards, I would just as soon get rid of it for CVC. It is endless tiers for CVC. It's a mode that places you against another clan versus clan, as if you're going up with some kind of skills or abilities or building teams or working together, and in the end it's just mashing buttons. Whoever has the most time, money, and energy is going to win. That's just all there is to it. It makes people feel bad when they don't get good scores. Even if you win a personal rewards, most people aren't, we're talking about average players, aren't getting a high enough score to even really reap the benefits, right? And you win a lot of energy, but you just spent a lot of energy if you won that CVC personal rewards. The whole thing's toxic. I don't like it. I don't want to wait when I get a book. I want to put it on my heroes. I don't want to pull shards for yet another reason. CVC, endless tiers for me. So Raid came out with skins, and I loved it. This should be in the Tears of Joy tier, right? Absolutely should be in the Tears of Joy. The problem is they decided they're worth $100 million each, right? And the only other way you can get them is to win tournaments. And if you don't think tournaments are nearly as toxic as CVC, think again. When there is something rare that you can win in a tournament, you're going to be up against a whale. Almost every category is going to have somebody who's willing to spend money just to get it, which means if you're free to play or low spender, it kind of leaves you out. So I can't really put this where I want in the Tears of Joy. I think this probably draws one painful tear every now and then for people when they realize that it's just not very obtainable. It was a great idea. They just implemented the cost wrong. I don't know why they think things are so valuable in this game. So one painful tier is the tier we're going to put the new skins in the game, because they look beautiful, but they're just not something that people want to spend. What do they ask? $30, $50 for? Give me a break. All right, next up, one they almost got right. The extra login rewards. We used to not continue getting rewards after you had reached your 260 days, whatever it was, and they added them in, and that is wonderful. This again should be in the tier of joyful tears. But somehow they managed to step in it, drawing this down to basically the indifferent tier, because they had it going in their favor, and then they had to draw up controversy. They added where you could get a sacred shard and a 5-star chicken throughout the month, and then they decided to bring in new champions. Now, personally, didn't bother me all that bad, but it is debatable. It broke a lot of people's hearts, right? Got a lot of people upset when they took away the 5-star chicken and the sacred shard for the slowly gained guaranteed champion. Again, debatable on which one's better, but in the end, they had to go and mess with something that people were happy with. Once again, dropping them one tier into the hold back a tier. They almost had it. Real quick, I want to put the energy expansion they gave us into this. So it's going straight up to the endless tiers, because they didn't give us any energy expansion. They've expanded other things, which we're going to put into this tier list, but they They keep giving us content and they keep adding content that takes energy, but guess what? We haven't gotten any expansion on energy. I don't know. It's making it harder and harder to manage energy, so even though they didn't do it, they're still getting in the endless tiers tier for this one. All right, let's get into Hydra. I badly want to place this in the tier of joyful tears. We may do it. I was thinking about bumping it, but it is good content. It is hard content, and we did need it. At the time, there was really nothing else to do. If you were already beating Doom Tower, they added it, and it definitely, the rewards are the issue, right? But I do think that the sets are pretty nice, and it is one of the only way to get soul stones. So we're gonna give this to the joyful tears tier. All right, we'll give it to Tears of Joy. I'm gonna give it to them. Again, they almost bumped it. They almost messed it up. It was really hard when it came out for a lot of players, but that's okay. In my book, you gotta learn, grow, get into it. They did kind of adjust it, especially for the earlier tiers. So I'm going to give it to them. You getting this one, Plarium, because it is good content. You really did do good. And it doesn't cost. I like the key system. Iron Twins, keys and energy. Don't do it, right? So I'm going to give this one to you. Hydra, good content, expanded the game. It does take a little while to play, but you only do it 3 times a week, so you can have this one. I don't know if you were here playing the game when 3v3 came out, but we had a lot of hopes for 3v3. So I kind of enjoy it, but like if I had to do 2 or 3 matches a day, I would enjoy it. I think this goes into the nightly tiers, right? Because we're all going to have a nightly cry when we're really trying to push. It just takes a long time. If they sped it up, I don't think we'd have an issue. If it was instant runs, I don't think we would have an issue. Let me know what you think about 3v3. I want to like it. It should definitely be in a lower tier here, but I've got to go with night. For the average player overall, I think it's just a nightly tier. So everybody's favorite, those constant deals that they're giving us, these amazing deals. I was about to pull them up. This is definitely their high point, right? Because they are always offering us amazing deals. A lot of times the amazing deals look like the great deals, and they really look a whole lot like the really good deals. They kind of all look the same. I cannot believe, when I really stop and think about it, this goes in the endless tiers. Seeing these things pop up non-stop is already a little bit annoying, but if they were good deals, that would make some sense. The thing is, they want $100 packs. What game? You're supposed to nickel and dime us to death with tasty, tempting deals. We're supposed to be paying $5 for a skin, right? Not $50. We're supposed to be paying, I don't know, $5 for a legendary book, not $20 or $25, whatever it is that they think it's worth. A game that could make a ton of money. If they nickel and dimed us to death, I spend some money on the game. Basically, it's coming down to the point I'm only looking at those cheap energy packs so I can go get some more gear and improve my game. I don't buy shards. Shards will break your heart. Chickens won't let you down, but shards will break your heart. Anyways, when it comes down to it, the deals in this game are insane. You can buy entire games for $60, $70, entire expansions for $60, $70. And then once every other year, you're paying a little bit of money and maybe buy a $2 skin in it. And these people want $60, $70 every 5 minutes. A new offer pops up. When it comes to it seems like they're getting worse. They're getting higher. They're getting bigger. They're getting insane. For the average player, it just kind of pushes you away from wanting to look at these deals at all. I've got to put this in the endless tiers category. All right, so they increased our bag space a couple of times, and this is definitely good. This should also go in the very bottom tier, right? This should be Tears of Joy, but they gave us this bag space after we were already desperately needing it, and then they gave us like 48,622 new sets to play with. Honestly, the longer you've been playing, I'm sure you feel me. The bag space either has to infinitely grow, or we need a way to turn bad gear into good gear or something. There has to... Anyways, it came a little too late. So even though it's a good thing, they messed this one up again. It came a little too little and a little too late. We're putting this in the hold back a tier category because at least it is a good thing. You might be seeing a pattern here, because next we're going to talk about the fusions, the fragments, the guaranteed champions. All this should be a very good thing, right? This should all be amazing. It's a way to earn heroes. This should go straight into the Tears of Joy tier. Well, the problem is, when it used to be one a month, not bad. We figured out they could do fragments. We're like, okay, get rid of fusions. But they didn't. They kept them. Sometimes they throw in some oddballs. Then they came out with the guaranteed champ idea, which is also a good idea. But if you try to follow both guaranteed champions, fragments, fusions, you have to start making choices. But you can't make those choices because they tell us the wrong things in their kit when they first are announced, and then they change them and buff them and debuff them before they come out. And then like as of right now, there's a guaranteed champion up, but if you were planning on getting a guaranteed champ, you thought, okay, it takes 15 sacred shards, but all of a sudden, boom, 20, and no warning, didn't know it was coming. I don't know. They're not handling it right. All this is actually stressing people out. People feel bad when they can't finish one of these because there's no easy, simple pattern to follow. They don't know what to do. What do? Do they save their shard? You want them to pull their shards every 2 days with these events. There's a 2x every 3 days. There's a 10x every 3 days. They'll mix and match them with fusions, fragments. They'll throw little fragments in between. It's too much. It's too much. Make a steady pattern. Give us a schedule. Let us know what to expect and time to explore the champions, please. Because as of right now, instead of Tears of Joy, this is going all the way up to the top, because it's actually a nightly cry. Every single day we are shedding a tear over some stressful, when it should be fun, event. It's a little bit too much. It's overwhelming. It is on us, I know, to just ignore some of them, but the truth is it does make players feel bad when they just can't accomplish these things. I think they need to rethink how they're doing it all, because right now this stays up as a nightly cry tier. Let's give some props to Raid though. We have been getting a lot of freebies, free stuff, right? This obviously goes in the Tears of Joy. We are getting free heroes. There was Ninja, there was Ultimate Death Knight, Deliana. They're all really amazing heroes. They're all useful heroes, especially for starting out or mid-game players. Very good stuff. They're giving us a lot more promo codes, free gifts during holidays. These things are actually pretty good. They're giving us books. They're giving us some chickens. They're giving us energy. I have to say they're doing this right. This is looking way better than it used to. So this goes in the Tears of Joy because it's the only tears you're going to be shedding over these new free deals that they're giving us. And we're going to stay on the happy train for a minute. Doom Tower. Doom Tower came out, and just a little bit stressful for some people there. And I understand there's people still struggling through it. But honestly, it's good content with really good rewards. Like, you can count on, if you know where you can get every month, you can count on those good rewards. Actually put them into your plan with the insane events that are always going on. It's a lot of fun. There's going to surely be a couple new heroes coming out soon. It's about that time. It feels like it anyways in my internal clock. I think we're going to be having a new rotation coming out soon. Every time they bring out new heroes at Bommel, might have been a little stressful for some people, but we all figured out ways to do it. And as any other content, you might have to wait and get certain gear and certain heroes to beat it. But I gotta give it like an A+. This goes into the Tears of Joy tier. And also, I want to talk about the pretty much monthly buffs to champions. This should be a straight up Tears of Joy tier. Giving us buffs, rebalancing heroes because the game's growing, changing. Everything's different from what it was 1 year ago, especially 2 years ago, and you can't even consider 3 years ago. It's great that they're rearranging the tiers of all these heroes and giving us new options and buffing them up. We're gonna put it in Tears of Joy. We're gonna put it in Tears of Joy. They seem to be hitting some champions that just, it doesn't make a big enough difference. But if you're early game, it might. A lot of these, you hear this stuff from people who are playing in-game content. The truth is, a lot of these buffs probably could help somebody if that's the champion they pulled this epic and they're trying to use them for the time being. I actually think this is nothing but positive, but I do wish they would really try to fit them into the power creep so they actually flow with the game and a little bit more relevant. But anyways, Tears of Joy, at least they are buffing. Last but not least, time management. They're adding content. That's a good thing. but you have to play this game 27 hours a day, right? You've got to play this game more hours than there are in the day. You have to if you want to stay relevant, if you want to grow. It feels impossible, because the beauty of the game is the fun time you have, right? Hey, I used up my energy. There's nothing going on. I'm going to look at my build and I'm going to start daydreaming about, what if I put this guy in Frenzy? What if I tried the stone skin set on this guy and then I put it with this guy? That's the fun part of the game. But you're so stressed out over time trying to get all the things done. Again, like I said, there are nights at this point with all the events coming out, I can't even run Iron Twins some nights, and it's an easy run, but my energy's going into other places, and then I don't see the energy. I don't want to spend the gems. It's getting rough with time, like really getting rough with time. I think they need to fix this, or they're going to lose players. They're going to lose players. All the other complaints, whatever. Cancel CVC. Completely rethink CVC. The deals, I doubt they're ever going to change their deals, but man, it's hard to see $100 deals popping up all day long. The amount of money they expect somebody to pay on a video game. And the energy shortage, that could all be managed in different ways. But when it comes down to it, if they don't fix time management, because if you look down here, like the ones that aren't in the Tears of Joy tier, they're doing it to themselves. They could be. Most of these are supposed to be good things. They're supposed to be good things. Maybe they'll rethink some of this, but they've got to get time management under control. Anyways, now you got your tier list. Go forth and beat the game. Thanks for sitting through it. And until next time, enjoy the grind.